Okay, I've been doing these education play dates, and we go to a park with a precinct chair, and we have snacks and stuff for the kids, and we talk about the threats to public education, about like what cutting the Department of Education will do to our kids in public school, and what the state of Texas is doing to public education. And then we talk about the local election and just where to vote, answer any questions anybody has. And it is amazing to me, some of the stuff that has happened so far. Number one, the white affluent ladies in their Lululemons that will go out of their way to make sure their children do not come up to us. That their poor children just want to play with chalk and bubbles. And they're like, oh no, kids, we're not playing with that stuff today. Because they don't want to hear about public education, because they want to get that coupon, I guess. Yeah, so they can buy more Lululemons. And then I get a lecture on how the nuclear family is the problem and we need God back in school. That's the problem, clearly. And then I get a lecture on parents are the problem and parental involvement is the problem, which I think is bullshit, because I grew up in the 80s and 90s and my parents were nowhere to be found. My parents worked 2 jobs. They each had jobs and they were nowhere. I had to get rides to school. I was on my own. I had to fend for myself like all of my friends. Nobody was effing involved. There were a few people that had stay-at-home mothers that held everything together for everyone. And that's it. And that's the way it is now. So this idea that that's a new concept, that parents aren't involved, is bullshit. And like the nuclear family is what's going to save everybody. That, I had a 2-parent home. It was a shitty 2-parent home because they hated each other. So what good did that do? It's crazy to me. And what the Texas legislature is talking about this week in public education, they're not doing anything to help us. They're talking about furries. Literally talking about furries this week. That's what they're concentrating on. They're worried about outlawing furries and non-human behavior in the classroom. I asked my daughter on the way to school, I was like, you got a furry in your classroom? And she goes, well, there's this one girl who likes to wear fuzzy ears. And so there's this whole Texas legislature is concentrating on this one poor girl. I'm like, you better tell your friend. She's gonna have to take her ears off. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And also the 10 Commandments. Yeah, we're gonna put those up. While people are walking into our schools and mowing down whole classrooms, pew-pews. That's, our Texas Ledge isn't worried about that. They're worried about defunding public ed and furries and non-animal behavior and 10 Commandments. I'm gonna go take a nap.